We're live. We're live. Okay. Oh my God. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Book of Boba Fett Aftershow. I should do that too. Book of Boba Fett Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm discombobulated. Let's spell that. Welcome to the show. And I'm still. Shut up, James. Okay. Shut up, James. There we go. Okay. There's two Jameses talking. It shouldn't be that happening. Welcome to the show. I am James Lodge here on JLJ Media. Let me collect myself. And I'm here with my buddies with all things Star Wars, Frank Moran and John Duffy. How you guys?
Hello.
Oh, hi, everyone. Fancy meeting you here.
Yes, come in the chat room, please. Hello, Kirsten. You guys come on in. The water's fine. We have, okay, so we just say we'll do some church announcements. We have several Star Wars related podcasts on this network. Hello, sis. My sister's on here too. Hello, sis. We have Darth Vader is Your Father, and he is. And that's out everywhere. You can get that. There is, of course, the Mandalorian after show with me and Ryan Nilsson. That's out everywhere. I put out a Obi-Wan Kenobi after show. It was not really, I think, meant to be anything yet. I just put out a teaser and like a couple of things. Well, now that's a huge hit all of a sudden. So that is out now too. But that will be the three of us at some point when the show starts. I just put out a couple of things, but thank you. Subscribe to that right now so you get ready for that. And of course, this one, your number one Star Wars podcast on my network, the Book of Boba Fett After Show, which was my number 2 or 3 show last week. I mean, you guys are just like, you're tuning in. You're tuning in. So we appreciate it. I love all things Star Wars. Also, I'm on TikTok. And you can follow me on TikTok at James Lodge Jr. I talk Star Wars stuff on there too. I have a couple of friends I want to shout out. My friend Maddie, who's on there, who does Star Wars stuff. My friend Kevin Parker, who does a lot of Star Wars stuff on there too. So check those two guys out on TikTok. They're always doing all kinds of Star Wars related contents. So that 5 times fast. Yeah, do some good stuff. Just some fun. It's a Star Wars nation, I call it on there. We have a bunch of us that are just we all know each other. We're all doing like little things. So a lot of fun. So TikTok can be good for some things, not just for the dances. So there's that. Okay, that's all the church announcements, everything there. Okay, so we're going. So Book of Boba Fett, of course, the big joke is kind of that half the show wasn't about Boba Fett, right? Well, we had some major developments in the Star Wars Disney Plus universe that I want to mention today, just because there's 2 things that came out that are really big, and I want to hear Frank Moran and John Dunphy's takes on them. I know Frank is shocked. I know you're on here for a reason, and you at home too. If you're watching, I want to know what your takes are too. So the first one is about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Actually, there is a rumor. It was first put out as fact, and now someone's trying to dismiss it on some level. But I think it's possibly not true. That Darth Maul was in the original series taken out and Darth Vader was put in. So apparently the scripts were written after Mando season 1, while Mando season 2 was happening. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau said, man, take him out. They were too afraid that the storylines would be too similar because Kenobi, of course, was a kind of hermetic who comes out to watch young Luke. Mando was somebody who was trying to watch the child. They don't know, some whatever. But as we know, in Clone Wars, Rebels, Darth Maul shows up. In Solo, shows up. And now in I think it was Clone Wars when they had the final battle, the 2 of them, Darth Maul and battle. So that's the animated stuff. But anyway, in live action, they're claiming he was in the original scripts. Now he's not. Kids, what do you think? You hear about all this?
I read that article. And I was intrigued. So James Ladd Jr. once again showing why you're the host among hosts, having this hot topic already teed up.
Hot topic.
That's right. For me, I mean, just reading that article, I mean, I have no reason to kind of dispute anything that happened in there. From Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, I mean, I guess according to them, their reason, as you were saying, was close to what they were doing, but then also saying, hey, you can be bigger in terms of what they're doing with Obi-Wan. So, given that, I mean, how much bigger do you get than being able to use Darth Vader in there? So, I mean, it seems like, they plussed up. And while I'm sad not to see Darth Maul in there, I mean, trading it out for Darth Vader is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I guess like the differences in the storyline is just, it's, you know, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes up. But I mean, I think I'll take Darth Vader over Darth Maul, and be happy with that. So, yeah, I'm cool. But I mean, I even have from what I read on there was like Darth Maul, Ray Park was there, possibly even just doing like stunt work and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they don't think actually any footage was shot with them, but it probably just some stunt training. So, a bummer to be that close to actually,
I know,
getting stuff going, and then it's like, hold on, Ray.
So Hollywood.
So fast.
So Hollywood. Sorry, it was Rebels. Thank you, another James in the chat room. It was Rebels. Sorry, it was Rebels. Yeah. John, what do you think about initial thoughts? What do you think about
that? I was almost surprised to hear that it was like a trade-off. You know what I mean? Like I would have thought that it was going to be Obi-Wan and we'd have Darth Vader in there. We'd have Anakin in there. But like Darth Maul would be another character. I was surprised to read that it was like, we were going to put Darth Maul in, but we decided, no, let's get rid of Darth Maul and have Darth Vader instead. You know what I mean? Like I am a little disappointed because I'm so excited for this series and everything that we might see. And I hadn't even really thought that much about Darth Maul, to be honest, until I started seeing some stuff coming out. And when I first started seeing it come out, it was like, oh, we're probably going to see Darth Maul in this at some point. And then when I started seeing, no, he's not in it anymore, and they actually took him out to put Darth Vader in, I was like, wait a minute, Darth Vader wasn't a part of this from the beginning? I don't know. I was a little surprised by it almost.
Yeah.
It's true.
I know what I want to say real quick. The new Luke. And everybody's been trying to welcome him in. Is Grant Feely. He has not done really much of any kind. He's a newer actor. Doesn't have a lot of credits. They're saying they want to avoid the Jake Lloyd incidents. All the hate he got. So, but anyway, so he's one you see in the trailer briefly. But he's going to be playing young Luke. Okay, that's what I go. So go ahead, Frank. I'll make sure I say that.
I mean, for that, I mean, you don't want any child to, have to endure any sort of kind of fan scorn or ridicule. But it also depends on. I mean, I can't imagine that. I mean, Anakin was more of a focus on episode 1 than I think Luke would be here in Obi-Wan. I think he's just probably. I'm hoping he's more of just a character we see through, the binoculars, and we leave it there. We don't need to really get up close and hanging out with young Luke. I have no need to know anything more about.
But Frank, though, really, do you think that Frank, really, do you think they're going to have him just in the background and not really have him talking and walk and like we're not going to see anything?
Yeah, but is doing that going to add anything though?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm like, you say you don't want to. I'm curious.
I mean, it's one thing for Anakin, whether they needed to see him as a young child, but that was your first time seeing Anakin outside of the Darth Vader armor and so you're seeing him. So okay, seeing him as a kid and kind of watching him grow. Kind of made sense, but Luke, we've already seen him as a teenager, so I don't know if do we get anything more by really getting a lot of him as a
Frank. But Frank, they're bringing his adopted parents on. Joel Edgerton, and I forgot what her name is. They're playing his adopted parents.
But Owen and Beru.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm more interested in seeing their relationship with Kenobi than I am about young Luke, because even from what we saw in A New Hope. When Luke knows of Kenobi and knows he's kind of reckless, but I mean they're not really close at all. So I don't feel like I need to see a lot of that the relationship between the two of them. I mean, I'm cool with Kenobi being more just a somebody who's watching from a distance, but still kind of brushes up with Owen and Beru. So yeah, I'm more interested in seeing that dynamic.
Maybe we'll get some shots of like of Uncle Owen walking with Luke through the market, and Obi-Wan just passes by and like whispers something to Uncle Owen. Just make sure you stay out of sight. Somebody's coming to town. Maybe we'll get like little interactions like that. And we'll see Luke kind of playing around or something like that. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see much from Luke though. Maybe just like in passing.
I don't know. And the chat room is saying, well, he'll meet Obi-Wan. That's what they're saying in the chat room. I don't know.
Like a 5-minute meet and greet is fine. I don't need to see 6 episodes of, him hanging out with Obi-Wan. I think that's unnecessary.
I just don't think we're going to get much between Luke and Obi-Wan because, think about how Luke refers to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, right? Like, oh, you think he means old Ben Kenobi? Like, I don't think you'll refer to somebody that you and your adoptive parents know very well. It's like, oh, remember that crazy old Ben Kenobi? You know,
our best friend,
yeah.
crazy old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, I don't think that Luke's gonna have much interaction in that way with Obi-Wan. But
so you guys both feel confident that they're going to keep the timeline kind of going. They won't. They're going to mess with you. Like really mess with the timeline then with this story, because the other one, Mandalorian's a different kind of story. But this is a certain story. You think they're going to keep it, you know, kosher?
I would think so, because I also don't know what. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, retroactively add to Luke as a child that would also make it like, whoa, that's deep. Wow. You know, I think everything we need to know about Luke, we know. So I'd be surprised about like some sudden revelation or insight that we don't already know as a child. So I was colorblind the whole time. I never knew what color my lightsabers were. Oh my God, that's crazy.
You think we'll get any like little random scenes of little child Luke, you know, lifting something in the air with the Force, but he doesn't, you know what I mean? We'll get some kind of little like.
As I'm saying, I'm just wondering what can they do?
Yeah.
To make sure that it doesn't mess up. You always say if you do this, it mess up the rest of the, you know, these kind of time travel movies and stuff. Like, what can they do to not cause a wrinkle in time? Another Disney reference. How can they? I think they can. They probably do only so much, right? Because they're telling us it's separate between it's after this and before this. So, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as long as you're sticking away from not having a lot of direct interactions between Luke and Ben, and I think it's fine for whatever. If people are tracking Ben Kenobi down to Tatooine, and he's over by Mos Eisley or somewhere else on the planet, you know, taking care of anybody that's pursuing him, that's one thing. And then he, by the end of the episode, he races back just so he can get those binoculars out and then just look at baby Luke sitting there doing his thing.
Baby Luke. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's very interesting. I mean, I thought, you know, I actually believe the story that he probably was in it. I mean, there's script rewrites happen all the time. I mean, it's not anything super new. And they're writing it in the middle of where the only show that was out was Mandalorian season 1. They hadn't had any other shows that came out to gauge like popularity, interest, whatever. So I think now they have several shows on their belt with the Bad Batch, this Boba Fett. They can actually now kind of, you know, which will lead us into our next story in a second, but that they kind of now can gauge what's going on, I guess, or how to, you know, it felt like to me they want to make sure that each show has its own distinct personality. That's what it seemed like to me.
Well, because I also think it's Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, even, you know, Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch. They're all TV first, tying into the Star Wars mythos. But like Obi-Wan or even Andor, when his series comes out, that's all movie stuff coming into TV. So I'm just curious to see, you know, I'm sure Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, you know, are in the mix somewhere with all that. But, you know, in terms of how much authorship that they're having in terms of like an Obi-Wan and an Andor, as opposed to the people that were more film related with them and know these characters bringing them in. I'm just curious what that balance is, as opposed to more of the TV Central stuff, where I feel like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni really have everything kind of locked down.
It looks like they're executive producers, of course, on this, but they have other writers. If I read it correctly, they have other writers. I forgot the name. I thought I wrote it down. I didn't write it down, but it's another name. So, but yeah, I mean,
I will say one thing.
Go ahead, please.
They did Dark Horse Comics when they had the Star Wars license many years ago. They did, you know, an annual with Darth Vader where it was him having a fight, kind of the Emperor kind of summoned up this fight between him and Darth Maul, more kind of just like a mental sort of thing. But I mean, trading off the fact that like, holy cow, we're getting to see Darth Maul against Darth Vader, even before that was an inkling in any of the Clone Wars stuff that he was still alive. Yeah. So an Obi-Wan series, you know, like John's right, like why not have all three?
I know, why not?
If you had the opportunity to have a Darth Vader go against Darth Maul in live action, holy cow, fans would melt down. to watch that. I'm sure
they would. They would have twin. They'd lose their shit. Now here's the thing. So should there, because we've heard of this, gentlemen, I'm curious, and you at home also are watching. Everybody wants the timeline to stay the same. I get that. Should they do a Darth Maul movie or something?
I would love that.
Because right now this is the limited. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a limited series. They've made that clear. It's 6 episodes. Sounds like it's 6 and done. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, should they do a Darth Maul thing?
You know, I mean, you still have so many stuff like with Crimson Dawn and all that stuff kind of hanging out there. That, I mean, I feel like if they wanted to do a big, you know, multi crossover event with Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and whatever other series they might have coming up, kind of present day with Mandalorian, and it all ties under Darth Maul, Kira, Crimson Dawn, that would be awesome. So,
what do you think, John?
I totally agree with that. I think that character, I mean, Darth Maul is such a cool character to me, and I never like. I remember seeing, seeing Solo and just being shocked at the end, seeing that image of Darth Maul. And then, like I said, I told you guys before, I was pretty late to the animated series. So, like, I loved Darth Maul in The Phantom Menace. And really, before I had seen the animated series, didn't realize how big he was even after that prequel series. And, to see all of the other stories that he's gone through where he's interacted with Ahsoka and, we've seen his brother. We've seen so many other things like, with Darth Maul. I would love to see him again in live action, whether it's a series, a movie, anything like that. Give me more Darth Maul.
So the chat room, which I agree, they messed up Maul in Solo. Of course, Solo wasn't a huge hit, so that's why I didn't continue. He was handled well in Rebels and Clone Wars. Somebody else says that would be interesting, James. Someone says no. I'm just wondering because he is in the universe. He's out there. I'm just wondering if there's enough interest to have him have his own series, or own something.
I think there is. I mean, I think it's another example of a cool character that you see in a film, given a lot more depth as a character through the animated stuff that he's been in. And so, like the coolness of Darth Maul in Episode 1. Finally is now matched up with like the depth of the character that the animated series have all done with him. So he's just an awesome character now.
It's interesting to me too, like even talking about that, like with Darth Maul and like how he's just like the depth of the character has expanded so much through the animated series. I think you can make the same argument for like Anakin, right? Where like people saw Hayden Christensen and didn't love him in the prequels and thought Anakin was this whiny character, but then you watch Anakin in the Clone Wars, and it's like
it's totally different. Yeah.
Oh my! You see the real hero that he was, like this amazing Jedi that he was, like before he became Darth Vader. And it's like I feel like Darth Maul was the same sort of thing for him through the animated series, and that's why I love these series.
James Robbie said his story was pretty laid out, and it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so that leads us into the next thing, and I didn't print this out in time, so I will read it myself. Ooh. It's about Andor. News came out about that today. So, and there's another series that's coming out, which is going to be taken up. It's a prequel to Rogue One, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I'm ready for it. And they said, okay, let's see. I had it in here. Make sure that the release date may be pushed forward. Actually, saying because they're doing was it Ms. Marvel or somebody's coming out first and that's to be a benchmark moment for Disney Plus. And yes, okay. So it went away. That it's going to be the last updates. So you guys are thinking that Andor might arrive in August after Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ms. Marvel. That's the whole point there. And then they were saying, so of course it's going to be a prequel to Rogue One. Kind of focusing on Cassian Andor, of course, but I did the Diego Luna. And we will be joined by several familiar Star Wars characters. Of course. So we'll have some Forrest Whitaker in there and also so you got people coming in there for that. And then but the whole talk was the rumor is going to come out sooner. They're trying to keep the momentum going, apparently. They're trying to keep it going. But they're shooting it. So and also it's already reported it's already been renewed for season 2 and season 1. So I have several questions about this. First of all, it's kind of like, first of all, and what's the name will not be Alan Tudyk, who I like, won't be back for the series. I mean, I thought he'd be in it, but he's not going to be in it. It is a bummer. I love that actor anyway, but all kind of stuff. But he was good. He was good in there. So he won't be in there. Okay. So first of all, are we interested in the series? Are we thinking? I mean, I loved Rogue One, and I thought it was at the ending. Of course, my man Darth Vader comes out at the end, does his thing like he's supposed to, which leads to the next thing. So what do you guys think about this?
All right, John, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you?
Oh my God. I'd say for this one, I like a 7 to 7.5, because Obi-Wan is a full 10. I'm super excited for Andor, but like, I mean, just with what we have coming out in May, it's hard to get excited about anything else right now.
It's like,
but I am very excited about this series for Andor, because and I can think Rogue One has become one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It's just so well done, and story's great, and there's one line in there that he says that, he kind of says, like, we've all done terrible things for the rebellion, and I'm excited to see some of those stories, because you kind of get to see, like, obviously the rebellion or the resistance, wherever you are in the Star Wars timeline, like, those are the good guys, but sometimes you got to get a little dirty, to do good, and I feel like we don't always get to see that side of the rebellion where they're kind of doing stuff that the bad guys do, but for this higher cause, this bigger purpose. And I'm excited to see some of those things that Cassian has, those situations that he's found himself in, where he's had to maybe go against his own morals to further the rebellion.
I'm sorry. Before you start, Fran, I'm sorry. I have a note. I know, no. But they finished filming. They finished filming September 2021. They're getting ready for pre-production for season 2. But no, they finished one, and he says it's a really interesting ending. He doesn't want to spoil it, of course, because of course now we see it's going to be season 1, season 2, so it's not going to end where Rogue One begins. Now we got that kind of notification. It's gonna, so yeah, we're getting, so like John said, we're like getting stories and everything. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh no, that's it was all good stuff. My initial impulse was to say that I will watch Andor, but I mean, much like John, my enthusiasm level is not as high as it is for Kenobi. But and also I feel with Andor, like the most interesting story is already been told in Rogue One. But when you reminded me of that line from Rogue One that he says that while it may not be the most interesting story, it still could be a good story to see. So yeah, I will definitely watch it, but I'm not, it's one of those that if it's, I could be easily blown away and swayed to like, holy cow, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any part of me that's going to be like thumbs down to this whole thing, but I'm coming in with very kind of just, neutral expectations.
Right. I was going to say something, Frank. I was going to say, it's kind of weird. Like there's certain shows that I've watched, and I don't know if you guys have watched. There's a lot of shows out there, right? There's some shows I'm excited about. I can't wait to see them. I watch them. I'm let down. I'm in the corner eating my hair, crying because the shows were horrible. Or I've had shows where I'm like, I'm kind of interested. And I'm like, wow. Like, I mean, I think of shows like there's a show called Barry. It's coming back on HBO. It's so good. Like, folks, Bill Hader, of all people. I'm like, what? And Henry Winkler. The show is so good. Like, I was like, I'll check it out one night on HBO. Binged the whole thing. Season 2 came back. Love season 2. Season 3, they just put the trailer of 2 and 3. Like, and there's a show called Hacks with Gene Smart. So funny, so smart. Like, there's shows where I'm like, I'll check it out because I like so and so and so and so. But because it's not so, almost like Kenobi, we could be let down. These are almost open-ended. Like, well, like for example, I could be blown away, and it's like, wow, I was just like, okay, I did not expect that. Right. So I'm with you, Frank, on that one. Kind of like, my excitement isn't like Kenobi excitement, but I'm like, Mandalorian surprised me. I didn't know what I was going to watch, and that one really just surprised me.
Do you think that's part of why Boba Fett kind of took a lot of the criticism?
Yes.
It did, right?
Yes.
Because Mandalorian's a new character. When you get this new Star Wars, people, they don't know what to expect, and then it comes out good, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. But when you have a character like Boba Fett that's been around for decades, and you expect one thing and you don't get that, of course
you have Boba Fett in one episode nodding. I guess it's an Emmy-worthy nod that Frank loves.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say one word. He nods.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That is just, I mean, of a character of his kind of cult status and stature, it's crazy to me.
When he's nominated for an Emmy and on award night, when they're playing the little snippet as his name's being read, and it's just the nod. Oh,
Frank loved it. He just
that's
loved
gonna
it.
be great.
Can I take it a step further? I hope he wins, goes to the stage to accept his award, and just goes
nods.
and then walks off.
Oh, that if he did win something and did that, I would say, okay, I'm in. I'm all in. All in. That was worth it. I'm all in. But yeah, no, I'm with Frank, kind of like where I saw some of the preview stuff a while back when they were showing all the stuff. It's cute. I'm thinking it might be better than I think it is. But also could be just regular. It could be not as good. It could be whatever. So I'm not. Yeah, Kenobi's the one with all the hype. I think that's what's kind of scary. You're like, it needs to be good. It needs to be good. But if they think Andor is that good, I'm gonna try to assume they must be that good to have a season 2 already greenlit. Maybe they have more story to tell. I guess I don't know, kids. I mean, I don't know. In a chat room, a statement has been made.
Ooh,
Rogue One is the only war story in Star Wars. Is that true, kid? Do you guys agree with that?
The only war story.
Only he put it in quotes. Well, only war story. We've seen battles in Star Wars movies, but like the only war story.
no, I mean certainly that one. Its focus is that. I mean, I think you see it touched on probably most. I think of all the films would be Empire Strikes Back on Hoth.
Yes.
But then it's so easy because it's also a Skywalker story. It is easy to give you a little taste of some kind of war, but then we're going to bleed over to the Skywalker stuff and let that really be the main thrust of this whole storyline. So, I could agree with Rogue One. Yeah, kind of as a standalone, its own thing. It is just I agree. It is a war film because it has just a very like last desperate mission of a country that might be losing in a war. So yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but Frank won me over. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yes. It's an interesting way to put it. I never thought of it that way, but it's a way to put it. I mean, I guess it is.
Yeah. And you get a lot more of, I think we saw it in Solo a bit, and we see it in the animated series, but I feel like in most of the movies, all the battles that take place are in the air. Ships, you see some of the pilots, but it's a lot of just explosions in the air, planes flying. Or this was like boots on the ground, trying to accomplish a big mission to save this rebellion. So I agree. I agree with that.
Go ahead.
Because were you really caught up with the death of Porkins in A New Hope?
Right.
Right.
You had scenes of these ships flying around shooting at each other, but like the real story was Luke's on the Death Star trying to or you find Vader and the Emperor or whatever, like whatever it is, like so yeah.
They said it's the only one that focuses on the grunt instead of the hero.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. You're right. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
The way I'm saying, like, okay, no, I'm down. Okay, I can go. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I just not thought that way. But I thought it was very interesting that they're pushing. So now I'm wondering when is it? Because Ahsoka, I think, just started filming. I thought I'd been filming already. But I read somewhere like that it just started filming. So I'm like, when is that? Is that 2023? I guess.
I mean, I'm guessing that's coming out before Mandalorian season 3, because I don't think they've started filming that. Because isn't he still doing like The Last of Us?
Yeah, he's still The Last of Us. Yeah, he hasn't filmed 3 yet. So I guess next year will be those two. Nobody's mentioned anything about a season 2 Boba Fett.
Right.
No, and I feel like we would have heard something by now if there was going to be a second season for that.
Yeah,
it's so weird. It's so weird. Just so weird to me. because they didn't say limited series, they didn't say anthology series. It basically was like an anthology. It's like okay, let's bring this character in now, and you have Kate, oh my God, I think I was name all of a sudden. Kind of dead. Cad Bane, possibly dead, but may not. He's a major figure. It's like we just pop up somewhere. I mean, and you also have Cad Vanth in the back to tank.
Oh yeah.
No, he's come back to life.
Listen,
apparently,
you don't show him healing up for no reason, right? Like you got to have that on there for. I mean, unless they
can show up Mandalorian, I guess they'll show up Mandalorian, I guess. I mean, that's where he came from. But with Cad, I'm just wondering with him, such a big character. I'm just wondering where does he die in Boba Fett? Is he really dead or what?
I gotta admit, I part of me wonders, is it Timothy Oliphant reading that and said, hey, if you want me to come back and do this episode of for Book of Boba Fett, you can't kill my character. He's got to be able to come back. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were going, all right, we'll make you in the back to tank at the end. So you're cool. All right. Is that good? Yeah.
That's good.
I'm in.
I mean, I just think it's again, Boba Fett still was the craziest thing for me in terms of like there's so many other storylines and shit. I mean, but yes, I'm just like, so where do they go if this is just a one and done?
And as I sit here thinking about Cad Bane too, like I love Cad Bane. I know he's a villain, but I love him.
Right.
But part of me wants him to be dead because what did we talk about on the Boba Fett series all season long, right? It was like people complain that Boba's gone soft. He's gone soft, and I feel like that was one of his most badass moments of the season. And if you find out at the end, he didn't even really kill him. Really?
That's true. That's true too. Yeah. I mean, but you bring the chrysanthemum in. You have all these. I mean, just a lot that I feel like just sitting there. And Fennec's a well-loved character herself. So I mean, does she just die off because the show dies off, or does she pop up? And I said again, or do they pop up on Ahsoka somehow? Do they pop over there and help her out with something? I mean, it's the same timeline. So I'm just kind of
right.
Or do they all show up on Mandalorian to help out him against Boca Raton? Well, I said Boca Raton. Yeah. That's Florida. Y'all know what I mean. I'm tired. You know what I mean.
Part of me, like, I almost feel like it's too much if you just have all of them on one show. I'd like to see, Ahsoka featured in that series with appearances from these people. Mando has his series with some appearances from these people, but I don't know if I want like Boba, Chrysanthemum, and Fennec to all just be staples of Mando's show, and that's it, and they don't really appear anywhere. Like I'd like to see them kind of showing up here and there, I think, but not where it's overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to dominate the show over the character. Like, the show is called The Mandalorian. It's called Ahsoka. They should be the main focus of those shows.
Really? This show's called Boba Fett. I don't know, John. Just the way you say that.
I know. As it was coming out,
so normal.
Literally, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, "Wait a minute."
I'm like, that sounds really interesting, John. I don't know. You thought let's watch episodes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whatever we're half the show season. And it was like it's called Book of Boba Fett, but it was the Mandalorian show. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. John, I will just check with you because I know you threw out, how Boba Fett might be diminished if Cad Bane was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Cobb Vanth is still alive after Cad Bane thought, he tried to kill him. Does that diminish Cad Bane to you?
That's funny.
Oh, it's interesting. It's very
interesting. So he killed the deputy, though. He killed the deputy because the deputy was dumb. He told him to go back to duty.
Right.
He deserved to die. So he died. But now we got, our man. I didn't want him dead.
That is interesting because Cad Bane is not supposed to miss, right? I mean, and he missed. I don't know. That's a hard question. That was not expected.
You broke him, Frank. You broke him. You broke John. Dang it.
Oh God. I'm okay if Cad Bane's a little diminished. It wasn't his show.
It was a book of Cad. It was a book of Cad Bane. It was a book of Cad Bane. That's hilarious. You broke him, Frank. You broke him.
Sweating. I'm sweating.
I know you are. You're like, what? Like, Frank, how dare you ask me that question? Frank. That's too much. That's way too much. But that's what I'm saying. Book of Boba Fett, as we're actually talking about it now a little bit. It had so many different parts to it that are kind of like, they're parts of the universe. So it's kind of like if there is no season 2, because typically a season 2 would happen, possibly, we see more of Cobb Vanth, and then we see Cad Bane. He didn't die, and he's attacked. Like you would see more story, obviously, if that's how naturally it would go. But we don't. Yeah, we don't.
I mean, where's Jennifer Beals' twin sister that hears about her tragic death and comes down to try to?
That's right, Frank. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. They do twins on subs all the time. Shit, I'm in.
Go.
She'll come in and rebuild the sanctuary.
Rebuild the sanctuary. That's right.
In her sister's memory.
That's right. I'm in. I'm in. See, Frank knows it. I'm in. Everybody's laughing in chat room. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in with that. I would be down for that. Poor thing. She'd get nothing. And yeah, they literally wasted. She got one little monologue. That was it.
It was a brilliant monologue, though. It was a brilliant monologue that didn't work.
Yeah.
Flashdance. What a feeling.
That's true. But, convention appearances don't care about how little you were in a Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that paycheck still cashes.
Yes, it does. That's what Frank. I'd be in the background. I don't care. I'd be I don't be some lowly whatever in a doorway. I'd do it. Shit, this be the second sound in the Star Wars universe. I'll take whatever part I can get.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, I'll do it.
Yep. And then I would be in every forum possible making.
That's right, Frank. Make the
guys, we need an action figure of my character. So let's get it going. Let's start talking about this. You were in 30 seconds. Yes, I know.
Right.
But
that's right.
You need that action figure.
There are no small parts. Yeah,
correct.
No small parts. Exactly. As we start, actually we're gonna wrap this up. But what's funny is I thought Boba Fett was such an interesting thing because it was again I feel frustrated again as we're talking about. I just feel frustrated again because there's so many possibilities, and now with Ahsoka, we don't know when that's coming out. They're just starting to film that now, and they're mentioning Andor first. So to me it looks like, well, I mean, if they say August, I guess Christmas is the winter time is still open for something to come out. I guess it looks like they're doing a series at a time. So, oh my God, I'm like all of a sudden, Kenobi will end in 6 episodes. That's what June, July, like early July.
Yeah,
I guess because May 25th is the first episode, right? So 6 weeks.
So
I guess that would take
July.
Beginning of July.
So then August starts. Say they do this. August starts Andor. I don't know how many episodes. They didn't say how many episodes. Like 10 episodes, maybe 8 or 10. That would go into like October.
Yeah.
I mean, so it could be something coming out in November or December. Typically, a Star Wars film would come out during that time period, but so far, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
Are they making them, Frank? I mean, what's going on? I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I will ask you this because we're talking about the trials and tribulations of the Book of Boba Fett. If we're watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, and 2 episodes out of that are focused on Darth Vader doing his thing, are you going to think less of Obi-Wan, or because oh baby, we're getting to see some Darth Vader stuff that it's all good?
I'm all in for it. Especially if it's like him sending out his inquisitors being like, find Obi-Wan, that's still part of the story. Like you're still talking about Obi-Wan's former apprentice who has turned to the dark side. It's all part of the story to me. It's still like, whereas Mando was a brand new character, and I love Mando. I love him, but he dominated a quarter of Boba Fett's season. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like Darth Vader and Anakin are such a core part of Obi-Wan, where I wouldn't mind seeing that. Not that I minded seeing Mando and Boba Fett, but I think of it in a different way, I think, because Mando is a brand new character that was just introduced to us recently, and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan have a history, from the very beginning of the whole franchise.
I have to say, certainly when Star Wars came back to Marvel and they started doing the Star Wars comics, the one series they've constantly been doing, they've rebooted it a few times, but they keep doing it as a Darth Vader comic. So, I mean, clearly there's a demand for that. So, I would not be surprised if having him and Obi-Wan is just a way to spark the fans' enthusiasm, and then easily come out and say, hey, we're going to do a 6-episode Darth Vader series, late 2023, 2024. I'm sure the fans would go crazy if there was.
I would lose it. Clearly, I would.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question about the Obi-Wan series of you guys?
Please.
Do you think that we will see Leia?
Good question. Probably not. I don't think we will.
I'm leaning that way.
She's off somewhere else. I mean,
right.
Somewhere else.
Well, so she's with Senator Bail Organa, right?
Yeah, right.
And I'm wondering, because he is a prominent member, right, though, of the rebellion. And I'm wondering, is there going to be some kind of danger where Obi-Wan has to go off-world because somebody's threatening Bail Organa? He's got his eye on Leia. Well, we got to make sure Leia's okay. So Obi-Wan comes in and goes and tries to make sure she's all right. Is there any scenario you could see where we've already seen young Luke, right, in the trailer for this? Do you think we might see at some point young Leia, even if it's very briefly?
That could be a good cliffhanger type thing, possibly towards the end, maybe. Because it's a limited series, so to me, I'm assuming they're going to try to wrap up whatever it is. But it could be a nice little open ended, like there's Leia, like it started one day, because everybody forgets Luke and Leia. Luke liked Leia at first.
Luke kissed Leia.
Yeah, so the whole story but they were adults. They didn't know. But they were twins. But I'm saying I think that could be a possibility. It's like terms of like I think. Because no one they haven't mentioned it doesn't mean it can't happen. It doesn't mean it's not gonna be some secret.
Yeah,
Frank.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would. I don't know. I feel like the focus is going to be just more on Anakin or for Luke and Obi-Wan, because that seems to be like that stronger of the connection. I never really heard about in any of the first three. The original trilogy about Obi-Wan keeping an eye on Leia at all.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some kind of nod to that at all, but yeah, I would think not.
Okay.
I'm not with Frank. I kind of think they're not going to, but if they did do something, I think it'd be a glimpse. It'd be something super quick. Surprising.
That's what I'm thinking too. If we did see it, it would be something like that. Very, very quick.
Very quick.
But I mean, I could see bringing Jimmy Smits in for a hot cameo for him and Anakin, or him and Obi-Wan having like a quick second communication. Yeah. And you could see Leia in the background or something playing, or maybe. Okay. Like just checking. I've got some stuff happening on my end. Do you have anything happening on your end? No, we're all good. Cool. Go back to raising your pigeons. A good old NYPD Blue reference, everybody.
I like the Frank. I like that. I was like, oh my God, Frank, I love it. Jimmy Smits is also Dutch and Puerto Rican, which I am 2/3 of that. Yes, I'm a side that he is. That's why I was like, there you go. That's funny, Frank. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, that's the only thing about that show. Okay. Anyway, but yes, so that's I think that's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised. If something was alluded to. Yeah. But I just think that it'll be interesting to see her. I love to see Jimmy Smits, as I said in the chat room. Yeah, Leia. I know the thing is, all these shows, except for Ahsoka, are very male lead heavy.
Right.
I mean, Fennec is a very big part of Boba Fett, of course, but all those other shows are very male lead heavy. We need some more female stories, don't we? We need give us a Leia story. Give us a young Leia story. There's a lot of stories I know are probably decanonized now, but there's a lot of stories about Leia and stuff. But I wonder if they could do something.
I mean, there was going to be that Gina Carano series that comes out of the vine. So
right.
Drink that tea.
Well, that used to was, Frank. It used to was. Yes, that's happening now. But yes, but no, I'm saying, I think it is right now. It's very male heavy, and I just want that could be. I mean, and Leia is a very popular character in the series, and organic character in the series. So I just wonder if something. I don't know, but right now I'm like, I want to see Ahsoka first. I want to see what they put that together, and how that turns out, because she's such, another cult character from the animated stuff that are we gonna really get a badass, good story chick story.
Yeah. I would be. I feel like the thing is like it'd be interesting to see what they do with Han Solo. If they go with the other actor that played him and they do more Han Solo content using him, I could buy the door being opened to a Princess Leia recast.
Okay,
something for that.
Okay, or her daughter could play it. I mean, Billy Lawrence was doing some stuff. I mean, she could play Leia if they wanted to. But no, I agree with you, Frank. I think if the Solo thing, because there's rumors there's going to be a Solo series too of some sort. So. But I think it's coming up in a couple of years. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to keep up. There's all these universes, and everybody got their timelines and release lines. And I heard some about that, but I don't know much more about that. I heard they're going to try to do it right, like really do a good Solo story. So I don't know.
It is interesting because with all the Star Trek series on Paramount Plus,
right?
They are they're overlapping each of those series by like 2 or 3 weeks, which seems so weird. It's like, why not? Right. Why aren't they just spacing out? Even if you wanted to just do it, as soon as one ends, another one begins.
Right.
And then Disney Plus is taking the more of like, we'll have, maybe, a couple months of gap in between each series. So, I mean, I feel like I'm sure fans would love it if every single week there was new Star Wars content. I don't think anybody would complain about that at all. But I think it's just, can Disney Plus get to that point? Do they even want to get to that point?
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, you're right. Why isn't there? Why didn't you just start one now? I just started it now. I mean, it's like we're all sitting here. I mean, it's like I say, it goes. I always go by the Star Trek stuff and Paramount Plus, and also I said HBO was that way. HBO was like at 9:00 on Sunday there was a new series. So when one ended, the next week the new one started. That's how it ended. So it kept you watching every week at 9 p.m. There was like creating a habit. So why just every Wednesday, this is just Star Wars shit? I mean, we still haven't gotten any documentaries or anything on Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no behind the scenes stuff. I've not seen nothing. There was something behind the scenes. There was one thing I saw. It was not Boba Fett related. It was something else related.
And I don't know how much of that is the pandemic affecting stuff too. Because if you want to do documentaries, that's additional crew you're going to have on the set, which testing and all that stuff. So maybe that slowed it down. So I'm sure, as we're getting out of that kind of pandemic phase, I bet we could see more, get closer to a goal of having new Star Wars content every single week.
You're right. No, you're right about that. The whole pandemic. I keep forgetting that little thing called COVID. Little tiny thing, and now we're in World War III. So I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. We have some world issues happening right now.
It's just one thing after another.
One thing after another. I just thought we'd go back to normal, and now there's some war happening.
Yeah. Can we just please watch Star Wars? Jeez,
I want a Star Wars life. That's all I want. I just want to go into Star Wars, and that's it, kids. Well, I gotta have real life happening.
I know.
Dang it. That's where we'll end the show. Thanks for watching. Of course, this week. My sock just came off. I came off by itself, but my sock's tired too.
A little strip tease to end the show. I like it.
I told you it's hot in here. John Duffy, you're doing so. You have other shows. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what I can find.
Yeah. Me and my buddies Kyle Petty and Gina Morgino are talking about Big Brother Canada season 10. Which is in its 7th episode, which is tonight. Very, very exciting season. They do it much better than we do it here in America. If you want to follow us, if you're interested in Big Brother, you can follow us at Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast on Facebook. I think we're still on there. Or at BB Jury Duty on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to follow me, you can find me at JDunn89.
I thought you guys were banned from Facebook. I thought he was in Facebook jail or something.
I don't know what happened.
Facebook's weird. Oh, Facebook is weird.
Yeah.
Like I said, they messed up. They got rid of my Y&R page 5 times, and I'm like, it said it was violating something. I'm like, it's about soap operas.
That's what they told us too.
Right. I mean, bad soap. Sure, it's violating bad soap. Sure. But my page is not fine. My page is fine. That's all we got. It fine. I know you said on your show one time that you guys were banned or something was taken off or whatever. Just join the club. Frank Moran.
Just a little striptease music for James Lott Jr.
I know, I'm off. Wait a minute, here we go, Frank.
Make it rain.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
Here's the other sock.
Yeah.
That's all you get, kids. All you get tonight. That's all you got.
Yeah, tune in to James Lott Jr. After Hours
Yeah.
for that adult-friendly content.
Adult friendly, yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Happy Go Jackie.
And every Sunday, Frank and I are talking smack about General Hospital at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes.
We do. That's all we do. Let's talk smack on General Hospital at 1 p.m. So check us out. It's my number one show on the network. So I guess you like us being shady. Shady Sunday. they do. They're laughing at you, Frank. I'm James Lott Jr. I was going to say Lord James Lott Jr. No. Darth Lott, whatever you want to call me. The Darth Father. It's me. Call me where all James Lott Jr. sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. That's right, kids. And I'm going to take a muscle relaxer